Another week begins. My throat is feeling a little better. My sinuses are draining and feeling a little better. I just took my second test and it is not positive, which is good. But my body feels kind of achy and I have chills. This is not good. Again, I haven't been sick since 2019 with anything, so yeah, I'm gonna take a nap. I'm gonna skip skiing today. Part of me wants to go skiing, but I don't think it's a good idea. So maybe some gentle movement here at the studio and some slide board. I never really got into a state of physical empowerment today due to whatever illness I have. So pull-ups and knees to bar. I've been doing just 3 of each. 3 pull-ups, 3 knees to bar, walk away. Get my heart rate up a little bit, but not too much, and just keep going back. And the moment that it feels like too much, stop. But this way I'm moving, I'm doing a little bit of strength, but I'm not overwhelming my body. I just caught myself in one of those moments. I got all the way to the bottom of the stairs and I realized I forgot something in the studio. So 2 thoughts immediately jumped into my mind. Number 1, take the elevator. Number 2, forget about it. You don't need it anyway. I do. I really need it. So rather than deliberating, I simply turned around and went back up the stairs 1 step at a time. I heard those thoughts. Elevator, skip it. But even while I heard the thoughts, I felt my body turning around and just stepping up the stairs. And here I am 3 minutes later at the bottom of the stairs where there's a weird fire alarm thingy going off. Trouble cue. Maybe I should call somebody. Anyway, that's one of the ways that I get through challenging moments is simply by stepping towards the thing that the voice tells me to avoid before I have time to think about avoiding it. All right, I'm off. Feeling a little better today. Still kind of low energy and achy, but my sinuses are much better. My throat is much better. Far from perfect, but I'm getting there. Gonna start gently this morning. Just take some small steps, per usual, but a little slower, a little more gentle. At 10, I'm gonna go ski with my friend Joel, yeah, looking forward to that. But right now, I'm gonna do some editing. Bruce's brownies, which I can't eat.
No.
But they smell good. The over 55 club. We're gonna bomb down the mountain. Come on, Becca. My buddy Joel couldn't make it, so I did some technique filming and then bumped into some old friends and ended up skiing with them for a couple hours, which was nice. They slowed me down a bit and got to chat and explore and work on technique, and good times. It felt good. It's good to be gentle when you're getting over an illness. It's easy for me to just want to jump right back into it, but I got to remind myself always gentle, gentle, gentle. This is a pull-up variation that I came up with. It may already exist with another name. I call it a V1 pull-up because in cross-country skiing, you V2 when you pull with two arms equally, you V1 when your arms are offset. So you lean more on one arm. So I call this a V1 pull-up, and it's not quite a one-arm pull-up, but it's a lot harder than a regular pull-up, and I like them. That's good. One of my favorite places in the studio is my sound room. This is where I record audiobooks, etc. And I use it to take naps as well because it's so quiet. Got a couch in here, and got my TV where I put up text that I read, my sound system, my microphone. And this is my escape. Sometimes I work in here. I'll bring in the laptop if I just want to keep the world out. But I'm going to take a nap. I'm very tired from skiing. Very warm today. In fact, it's going to be warm the rest of the week into the 40s. Kind of crazy. Hopefully the snow sticks around. I'm having one of those mornings. I'm just not feeling it in my body. I feel the illness lingering. I'm just kind of achy and weak. And it's gray outside, and I'm totally unmotivated. I've got a lot on my plate. And I talk about this because it's important to know that there's a way through. There are steps you can take. There's a process. And for me, that process is to just keep bouncing from one step to the next. I don't have to know what I'm doing. I don't have a plan. I don't have a to-do list. I know that there are things that need to be addressed, but I'm not really in a state to focus my attention on them and address them in a manner that I could if things were feeling good. So I just move towards something. I allow myself to interact with it in a way that doesn't stress me out. And the moment I feel the stress building, I bounce to something else that is of import. And I just keep bouncing around through my morning until I've gotten quite a bit done and maybe I feel a bit better. So I'm going to head to recycling now. So I've been spending time breaking down boxes and getting things ready, getting rid of stuff from the studio. Also doing some organization in the process and responding to clients and just bouncing. And even though I don't feel good in any of it and I'm totally unmotivated, it doesn't matter because it's getting done in tiny, gentle steps. So it's not making me feel worse to be in action, and that's really the key. I can do nothing and feel bad, or I can take tiny steps and not feel better, but not feel worse, just feel the same. So I might as well be in action if I'm gonna feel the same in action as opposed to not in action. Okay, so off to recycling and then maybe skiing. I'm gonna bounce my way potentially into a ski. So I got myself dressed, got my clothes and snacks packed, and it may happen. I don't know. I'll find out. Looks like there's a high school ski race. I got into bed at 9, listened to some audiobook, and it's 9:30, and I'm going to call it a night. Not feeling great yet. The sickness is progressing into a better state, but my body feels kind of weak and tired and achy. So I'm going to be gentle tomorrow morning. Maybe hop on the slide board for a minute at a time. See how that goes. Going to get a quick ski in before the warm weather and rain comes. It's crazy here. It can be 25 below zero, and then it can warm up to 50 in the matter of a week. It's totally unpredictable these days. Good ski today. It's raining, so the snow is pretty slow, but that allowed me to work on a new way to engage my core. So listening to Adam Martin about core engagement and watching some videos of what people are doing with their rib cages, something I had missed. So incorporating that today to good effect. Really feels like it's coming together, and this makes me think about the idea of deliberate practice, which I don't think is a very good name. I'd like to call it alignment practice, because what you're doing is aligning your self-concept, the map of your body and your movements, and you're aligning it to what your body is actually doing. So rather than focusing on the map and believing that the map is true, believing that, hey, I can ski like Simon Kruger. I can't. So what I want to do is take that map, and through this pretty deep process of just aligning, you get closer and closer to the physical reality. And you let go of the map more and more. So I don't want to call it deliberate practice, because that invokes the idea of the will and willpower, which I'm not a fan of. That's the wrong tool to use to learn. Instead, it's about discovering what your body is actually doing and how to slightly adjust what it's doing to match what you think somebody else is doing. But it's I don't want to call it tedious, but it's an intensive process. So you're just tuning in, discovering what your body's doing. And also discovering that your self-concept and your map of your body doesn't want to let go. It doesn't want to make those changes. It wants to hold on to the movement patterns that it knows, because it's easier to just stay there. It's easier to ski with bad form than it is to spend the time aligning with your body and getting it closer and closer to efficient, beautiful, powerful ski technique. All right, I'm soaking wet. I'm going inside. I finished skiing and it starts snowing, of course. A green smoothie that's actually purple. Blueberries, banana, kale, hemp protein powder, little maple syrup, chia seeds, and cacao. Well, it still looks somewhat wintry up there. Maybe I'll go check it out. Just getting up to Prospect to check out the trails. We got some rain last night and it warmed into the high 40s. It's down into the 30s now, but still not below freezing. So we'll see how the trails are. They're probably going to be sticky and mushy. But the rain didn't do a lot of damage, which is good. So I'm going to take a nice gentle ski. I want to be really careful with my chest infection. I've been coughing up a lot of stuff, which is good to get it cleared out, but I can feel a weakness there. And it's fascinating, again, how my body is changing through this sickness for the last 2 weeks. That's something I've noticed in the past, too, that when I get sick, my body changes. I've lost quite a bit of weight these past 2 weeks. So I'm down to about 155, 156. So I've lost 4 or 5 pounds. Yeah, somebody doesn't approve. Anyway, time to go ski. Buildings? I like buildings. I was not expecting snow this morning. Another morning, another load of wood. It was a rough night, had some nightmares. I generally don't sleep much anyway, but last night woke up in cold sweats and not a lot of fun. Still not feeling great with my URI. And I thought I'd give you an illustration of my morning because many of you ask, do I still deal with depression? Yeah, but it's not an illness. It's just kind of a baseline state that I wake into that I probably always will wake into. And I'm not looking for a cure. It's just how my body and brain have been wired. And it's hard to change your wiring. So I didn't want to get out of bed, but I touched the covers, I touched the sheets, I touch the side of the bed and feel the contours and eventually just get myself out. Then a thought occurred to me that I should take a shower, but no part of me wanted to take a shower. Did not at all. It was repulsed by it. But I pointed myself in that direction, and before you know it, I'm in the shower, and it was somewhat enjoyable. I was listening to my audiobook, The Mask of Sanity. And then I shaved, didn't want to shave. Then I thought I need to get a load of wood. Did not want to get a load of wood, but put my clothes on, walked outside, and now here I am about to get a load of wood. And that's how my days go in the morning, at least. I never have interest. I never have desire. I always have this huge weight that tells me that I can't do things, that I shouldn't do things, and that I don't want to do things. But that's not who I am. That's just the simulated voice in my head, which we all have. We imagine things. We think. Thinking is a simulated voice, by the way. It's not an illness. Thinking is just thinking. But then there's me in the world, and me in the world enjoyed the shower. I'm enjoying being outside. I'll enjoy dragging the sled. I enjoy shaving because it's fun to kind of be precise in how you get all the hairs. So that's how most of my days start, but it's no longer a challenge for me because I don't identify as my thoughts anymore. I identify as the person here in the world, not the one who thinks and imagines and who measures himself against the task and always comes up short. I choose not to be that guy. I choose not to be my imagination anymore. I choose to be here, and it's made all the difference. I'm noticing that my knee is a little hurty. Got to go easy with the slide board. I think I may knock it down to 30-second or 1-minute sessions and not do 5 to 10-minute sessions. My slide board needs a home because this is not where I want it to live. So I found a way to mount it to the wall next to my polling machine. So I'm building a bracket that's going to hold it to the wall next to the polling machine, and then I can pull the curtain over it. I'm also putting a little writing board on top of it so that I can take notes or make lists next to the door. So I'm making a slide board holder slash writing board. I got this frame at Goodwill for a couple bucks, and glass is great to write on because it's easy to erase. And it was in the spot that I'm going to put this bracket, so I basically just took it off the wall and I'm mounting it into the bracket so it will stay in the same spot. But yeah, there are going to be magnetic clips here that fasten it to the polling machine, and then there's going to be hinges at these ends so that it can open up, put the slide board in, flap it down, and magnetically sealed at this end. And I'm hoping that's a good, simple solution. One of my favorite tools is the countersink. This allows you to bevel the edge of a hole so the screw doesn't break the wood when you fasten it. So first you drill your hole and then you countersink. So now I've got a beveled hole to fit the beveled head of the screw so the screw head doesn't split the wood when it is seated. And this allows you to get your screw heads nice and flush with the wood. It is a busy day at Prospect. And there's my buddy and former landlord, John, in front of me. Looks like it's going to be pretty crowded out there today. We're one of the few places in the Northeast that has snow, and we're close to New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Jersey, so we get a lot of people coming up because I'm in southwestern Vermont, right on the Mass-New York border, so it's an easier trip from the Flatlanders, as we call them. Anyway, today is going to be a technique day. My lungs still don't feel good, so I want to be gentle there. I'm trying some new movements out. I'm realizing that the Simon Kruger technique, trying to imitate him, perhaps isn't best for my body, and I think that the French biathletes Martin Fourcade and Quentin Fillon, their technique I think is suited more to my body, the length of my arms. I've been playing around with how they use their arms and it feels better. So I'll show you some clips of what they look like. I love them. They're incredible skiers. Anyway, here we go. That was a good ski. Took it pretty easy. Met up with my friends Jess and Brian and did a couple mile repeats with them at Brian's pace. So not super hard, but a little bit of effort. Lungs aren't great, but gave me an opportunity to work on technique at a little higher speed. It's coming together. Still got a lot of work to do. I think I've got all the pieces at this point. I just got to consistently put them together. I keep modifying the design. So now it's a rectangle of 1x3 with a 1x1.5 board inside, which is inset a little bit. So I'm going to cut the whiteboard, which is part of the leftovers from the slide board, and cut a section off and put that in there, recessed, and then some hinges here and here. So this is going to be up against the wall by the door, and then it's going to sit onto the polling machine, which is going to be over here. So this whole thing is going to be a door with a recessed whiteboard in it. Cut the whiteboard. I think I'm just going to use double stick pads to hold it in. I don't think I want to screw it. I'd rather not have visible screws. So I'm going to stick that on, put the hinges, and put it on the wall. Easy day of strength today. Just a few sets of toes to bar, one set of deadlift. I want to take it easy, give myself a chance to bounce. The illness isn't going away, and I'm in no rush. It's Sunday. How did it get to be Sunday? Time's going by way too quickly. Anyway, Sunday brunch at 11 with my family. So I've got to go to the studio, get some work done, finish up some of the organizational projects, exercise a bit, come back, eat, and then go up to Prospect to ski. But right now I'm going to drive into town and listen to The Mask of Sanity, which I should finish today. My slide board now has a new home up against the wall behind this whiteboard bracket that I just built. And yes, that is a baby bottle. It is a target for my Nerf guns. So I incorporated this into my polling machine structure, so it's just a pressure fit here. It's just tight. So I didn't need to put a clasp of any kind there. 2 hinges at the other end. It swings open, and then the slide board is up against the wall. So it's got a nice new home out of the way, and I've got another whiteboard to work on for to-do lists and notes, things I need to get. So when I'm walking out the door, I can quickly look there and say, oh, I need to get this, 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 and this. So that'll be convenient. My family eats eggs, and I eat tofu. Really nice ski today until I crashed on a downhill and broke my pole. Shattered it, which is really unfortunate because these were my race poles, and they're super expensive. New poles are like $400. So that's a big setback. Anyway, forced me to ski without poles, which is something I need to do anyway. And I'm trying to not focus on the negative, but this is a huge setback. Yeah, well, now I just got to figure something out.
Qualifiers for the tournament, and they have a lucky loser. So that's four that should get Emma Reebok through from this heat. Now, we've never had an all-Swedish final. We've had plenty of 1, 2, 3, 4s, but we've never had all 6. That would be something, wouldn't it? This coming into we're right at the lap again, but to the left here, that practice next time around, it's quite a different field to the old case. It's quite a sharp turn, and now the slingshot takes you.
So we have come to the end of a rather challenging week. This illness is still hanging on. My lungs are not feeling great. My body is still weak. So yeah, it's okay. We'll start here. We'll be gentle and gradually get back into where we left off, and the break may actually do me some good. So I'm bummed about the ski pole that I broke today. I got to figure out a way to generate some income to buy a new pair. And yeah, here we go. Next week, what am I looking forward to next week? There might be a race at the end of next week. We shall see. And my TV cart. I'm going to update and modify my TV cart. I think that's the next project on the studio list. So I'll show you what that looks like. Right now, it's functional, but I want to make it super functional. All right, off to eat, treadmill, go to bed, and I'll see you in the next one.